live from Paradise Valley. I'm in Arizona right now. Headed to the islands. I was warming up there. I had some like Ziggy Marley going on. It's pretty good. I just can't believe I had to cut off Journey the way I just did like that. That was as bad as like I had to do it. Had to do it. The time was running out. It was as bad as like Sopranos when they just cut it off. Ended Sopranos on a Journey note. So wrong. Yeah, chat in where you guys are joining us from. We're always interested in that. Give everybody just a second or two to get affiliated with your surroundings here for about the next hour. So sit down, tune in, turn on. In just a moment, we're going to be bringing on Garrett Baldwin. Uh, Obviously, give him a nice brief introduction over here. It's good stuff. All right. So from the Permian Basin. That's all right. You're entitled. You are entitled to present it in that particular fashion. That is okay with me. All right, fantastic. Looks like it everybody here. Let's officially start. A few informalities I always like to get out of the way throughout the course of the presentation. We have got a number of individuals in the chat room, including myself, help you guys answer some questions. Garrett will hit questions towards the end of today's session. So that always comes up. By the way, the other question that always comes up is this live? Oh, it's live. I'm feeling it right now. Just to make a quick point, I always like to bring up the market. I'm like, it's live. Okay, slow out there. It's actually, you know what? Today is an excellent day to discuss, well, our topic over here. So I like it. Let's get into it. One stop freedom plan. This is live with Garrett Baldwin. I will be introducing Garrett here in just a few moments. But look, let's get down to business here. Risk disclosure. We're not financial advisors nor a broker dealer. Many of us here, including myself, TheoTrade, spend ample time inside of the market making world, the brokerage world. Some of you probably know us from the brokerage world, and I say us again. Several of us here at TheoTrade originally come from Thinkorswim, TD Ameritrade back in the day. All right, copyright disclaimer. This is mine. It's all mine. Look, the thing I always like to put up here. If you ever need to get a hold of us after today, go to support@theotrade.com. Look, we use a common inbox. Like if you need to get a hold of myself, just put Don in the subject. If you need to get a hold of Garrett after today, just put Garrett in the subject, and that email will go directly to him. And I'm just so adamant about that because I want everybody to recognize, okay, you can reach us and you can always reach us. And that's of critical importance to me. I always want people to feel like, hey, reach out, touch us. And, the best way to always get a hold of us is obviously via email, especially those of us that myself, Garrett included, that are trading throughout the course of the day. A few housekeeping items. Housekeeping, shut the door. Okay, shut the door. Bar the door. Betsy, bar the door. Turn off Skype. Skype doesn't even exist anymore. It's about time. Okay, now it's like integrated to Teams. So wrong. Okay, get rid of Facebook permanently. Phones, put them on silent mode. I'm checking right now. I am on silent mode. I am good. Definitely kick out the kids. The dog can stay. This is going to get a little intense today. You took the time to be here. Focus on being here. And I'm always very adamant about that, simply because, again, Garrett's going to go into quite some depth today. Look, let's get, as I said, down to business. This is why you're here. Look, we want you to have, okay, certain deliverables by the end of today's presentation. Okay. One of those is finding the most tradable, tantalizing ticker. Okay. Pretty much in history. All right. That's, I like to put the note in here for me. It is a big claim. Okay. But it is. It's what we're going to discuss today is the most tradable. It is by far and away the most tantalizing ticker. Okay. In existence, unquestionable. Okay. And why it's such a perfect vehicle for generating income. By the way, it's killing me not talking about what ticker it is. smalls here. How to get started and book your first profitable trade literally today. And actually, Garrett is going to show you some of the trades that he's done, not only recently, up until like, a few hours ago, and why we're targeting so many 150% plus moves from one extraordinary stock. So those are going to be some prime elements that are going to be covered by Garrett throughout the course of today's presentation. Look, I'm just going to give you the quick nickel tour about myself, and then we'll bring on Garrett here. Just guys know a little background, because there are some people here that are brand new that have no idea what a Theo trade even is. So I'll give you some of the background. Everybody always has the story how they got involved in the business. I don't have a great one. I grew up around traders. I had never any intention of going into this business. I studied genetics, molecular genetics at a Northern Arizona, and 3 weeks out of college, I ended up actually going to Chicago, kind of on a whim, and I never left. I never really left. I never left Chicago because you just can't put a 22-year-old kid down on a trading floor and then pry him away. I liked it. It was a home. So I worked in Chicago for a few years, and I was approached by some traders. I mean, literally, I am coming up the escalator in the Chicago Board Options Exchange one day, coming up the escalator, and this guy, which I'm going to term him a long hair hippie freak, that would be Tom Sosnoff. That guy actually came over to me. So this guy comes over to me, and I'm like, by the way, if you guys have no idea who Tom Sosnoff is, Tom Sosnoff's obviously the founder of both Thinkorswim and Tasty, and which he, sold for $1.2 billion. Nevertheless, Tom looks like, one maybe level above like homeless most of the time, which I love about him. Traveled with him for 10 years. But Tom approached me in the escalator at the SIBO, and he said, look, we're starting this brokerage firm. We don't really know what it's going to be like. We're looking for some individuals that know how to trade, want to work for us. So I went on there very, very early on. I was an executive there when we took the company public in 2007, helped on the roadshow of that, and a lot of presentations for them. I was there when TD Ameritrade bought us in 2009. At the time, it was about a $700 million deal, worked out extremely well. And I actually ran the education division of TD Ameritrade. I had a 5-year lockup clause with TD Ameritrade from roughly 2010 to 2015. I had to actually spend time at TD Ameritrade, spent 5 years there running a division of TD. I exited in 2015, was forced to take off time in my contract. And in 2016, we launched Theo Trade. Many of the individuals that worked with me from early Thinkorswim times were really they came obviously from Thinkorswim and came with me here to Theo Trade, including Jeff Bierman and Brandon Chapman and Blake Young, and I can go on and on. That's how I actually met Tony Rago, Corey Rosenblum, all of them from my days at Thinkorswim and TD Ameritrade. And there's an interesting connection between myself and Garrett, and that happens to be none other than Tom Sosnoff, who had mentioned Garrett, and Garrett actually worked with Tom in some of the latter years over here. But again, that's a little, I guess, the nickel tour specifically about myself. Now, let's get into it. So I had seen Garrett, I had heard about Garrett, but we kind of headhunted him, and I did quite a bit of homework. As I said, the link between myself and Garrett was actually was Tasty Trade. It was Tom Sosnoff. Garrett used to actually do some program for Tom back in the day. And look, we had hunted Garrett and Garrett specifically because we knew, because our clientele here at Theo Trade tell us that people are always looking for ways to trade, okay, that fit more of their lifestyle. And one of the things about Garrett is he tends to dump the watch list grind. He tends to be ultra focused into individual, underlyings and equities. And that's something that's kind of near and dear to my heart, because when I traded Chicago, you trade like one underlying, maybe two. That's it. If somebody said like, oh, you're going to trade this for the rest of your life, you'd be like, that's it. That's my baby. Okay. And we listen to the clientele. We're going to dump the watch list line and potentially narrow your focus to one instrument that moves, okay, like clockwork, rinse, repeat. in your trading approach. And that is exactly what Garrett is going to bring to us. All right, so a little bio. By the way, this is not even a little bio over here. Garrett has quite the pedigree. So Hopkins trained economist with a master's degree in economic security, a master's in agricultural trade economics, and an MBA in finance. Okay, does that qualify him for? Probably a lot of student loans. I'm going to throw that one out there to begin with. Many student loans. We'll have to ask him that question. Expert in global equity flows, time sell-offs tied to COVID-19, the Nikkei crash. That's the Silicon Valley banking crisis, and the current sell-off warning of a sell-off on February 21st, 2025. In fact, really interesting. Okay, that sell-off in February of this year, literally this year, Garrett was literally starting to work for us and like would not stop texting me. He's like, "It's coming." We caught every ounce of that sell side activity into February, March, and April. Consulted for a major national financial institutions, including top Wall Street banks, Wall Street firms. Okay, $3.5 trillion credit fund, Fortune 500 and private equity firms, author of 3 best-selling books, okay, that have already been read by hundreds of thousands of people around the world. That is Garrett's pedigree. I like this one too. He's also the unofficial curator of the Cardboard Hall of Fame. So I have a 12-year-old boy that's also into some of the baseball cards over here. He actually saw this picture last night. He's like, "Oh my gosh!" By the way, the picture he's holding up over here, that is huge. Some of the cards that are actually on here in Garrett's collection are absolutely huge. I had to look up the Ted Williams one over here, which is like an absolute anomaly. I mean, we're talking 1 in a million over here. That's a nice collection, Garrett. I'm going to tell you right now, this is a really nice collection. So with that, let's start to get down to it. Garrett, we're going to bring you in over here to retire well. You only need one ticker. Seriously. So a couple of questions. It's a little bit of crazy talk. Okay. I mean, it sounds reasonable to me, but I think a lot of people probably think it's a little crazy talk. Okay. Obviously, we're going to be answering the question, what ticker is he talking about? Okay. And what's unlocked, obviously, this opportunity. So Garrett, let's get into it here. Let's ask you the answer to some of these questions over here. What do you got? What do you got going for us? Feel free to grab the screen from me. Absolutely. Over here.
Yeah, we got it. We're all set up. And just to answer your question, student loans are gone. It all was paid off, combination of trading and a book that I wrote. So good to see everybody. Hi, Jose, Eric, and Northport, Paul. Guys, thanks for joining us today. And Don, yeah, absolutely. I know that it sounds crazy, but I had this dream and I had this concept. And when you recruited me here and we started to have conversations about, how do you trade macro? How do you trade micro? How do you focus on all the different things and the various things I've studied over the years? Really, it was about bringing it all down to one stock. Now, I know you could trade the SPY and you could trade the Qs and you could focus on all these different indices, but at the end of the day, I don't want to do that. And I don't want to spend too much time looking at 12 different watch lists. I don't want to go through 100 charts in the morning. I want for one good setup. I just want one good ticker. And what do I mean by that? I want no watch lists, no chart juggling, no confusion. You wake up, you trade one name, and you go to work. One name, one mission, one focus. And the ticker that we have is a world of never-ending possibilities, right? There is a clear daily routine. It is one system, all conditions. No math, just mechanics. It is a supernova. So until recently, it was impossible, but then something huge yet hidden unlocked this. And that's exactly the point of this conversation today. The idea of, can just one stock ever meet my exact and demanding wish list? If you've joined us in the morning, you've seen me talk about the SPY, talk about the SPX, talk about the Qs. But the question is, one stock, and people are asking about the SPY and various types. No, I want one ticker, not the SPY, not the Qs, one stock ticker. And this ticker has to have it all. So in pure NCAA tournament, college basketball, college baseball, however you want to define it, we created a tournament of champions. We sat down and analyzed every single stock in the S&P 500. And that's where I started. And I said, I need to find that one diamond in the rough. And why go to the S&P 500? Because it is the largest, most liquid exchange with exposure to trading the SPY. And you know that I like the SPY, but I want that one ticker because at the heart of me, I am into microeconomics. I want to know about company news. I want to know how the market reacts to that. So I did a very simple thing. I got rid of more than 469 companies by making one decision. $250 billion market cap. It's got to have that much. Why? Because it's a huge amount of capital. There's going to be a lot of volume and there's going to be a lot of exposure to those ETFs. That passive investing, all those ETFs, that's important because there's going to be a floor to some of these stocks at all times. And we want to rail that down. We got down to 34. But I need options. And I know everybody wants to trade options. I got to have options. Well, of those 34, only 24 of them were highly liquid, optionable stocks. All right, I'm down to 24. Now I need volume. I don't want a wide bid-ask spread. I want no slippage. I want to ensure that there is so much volume that it's liquid. And in some cases, if I'm just trading the stock itself, I want there to be very tight spreads after the bell and before the market opens so that I can actually trade that ticker if I need to before the rest of the retail crowd gets in at 9:30. I'll be able to trade some of these names from 7 o'clock up to 9:30, from 4:15 into the after hours. Now we get down to 12. Well, what we find out is Google has two tickers, right? So GOOGL, and Goog takes us down to 11 because we're only going to be able to trade one ticker. Now, here's the next one, right? I needed to have access to the Qs. I need to have the NASDAQ because I want to be able to trade the TQQQ. I want to be focusing on that. We saw massive levels of insider buying on the TQQQ, on the Qs back in April. So we had to cut two more. We're down to 9. But here's the next bonus. I want leveraged ETFs on these stocks because that's higher octane, that's more volume, that's more capital coming into the market. There's going to be leveraged ETFs on these names very soon. And I promise you, there's going to be all these different players out there that can't wait to provide these types of tools. And obviously the retail crowd is going to be absolutely crazy about them. Now I see all of you guessing, you're talking, you're saying, what is it? What is it? What is it? Well, we're down to 8. So you can keep trying to guess, but I'm going to talk you through why of the last 2, these are the most important. I want a short float over 2% because as I know, in this environment, a lot of these stocks, these 2 stocks, are stocks that have a lot of exposure to ETFs. And what happens with a lot of ETFs? Well, a lot of ETF managers do not care at all what the performance is. They're just trying to collect on the back of the expense ratio. So they actually lend these shares out and these shares can be shorted. So there's always going to be an opportunity for short coverage. Yeah, it's not going to be Meta, right? So we're down to Tesla and we're down to Palantir. And I'm telling you right now, the number one stock to trade, the single best stock in the world because it is the perfect teacher of the markets for breakouts, for fades, for reversions, for proxies, for access to the SPY and the Qs, and again, the technology ETFs, for the ability for us to trade options, to have leveraged ETFs, to have spreads, shares, proxies, all of these different things. The single best one is Tesla. Why Tesla? Deafening daily noise. Palantir, when was the last time you had a conversation about Palantir? Daily options are coming on this. We're going to see 0-date options. We know it's already in the pipeline. Palantir haven't seen a lot of focus on the options for the dailies. We're going to be talking about Tesla having 3 options expirations weekly soon. And this is the ultimate soap opera stock. You have been watching since November what happens, and I'm telling you, I've covered this stock as a journalist, as a trader, since it was a meme stock, since it was a cult stock. I wrote a famous article at the magazine that was part of Tasty called The Cult of Tesla. And boy, did my inbox get full of people who were very ticked off that I called that. Oh, but at the same time kept telling me how they were making 500% to 1,000% trading just this stock. If you think about Tesla and you think about Palantir, Tesla, when it comes to the market, is the nightly news. You're going to see it every single day. And Palantir is once a week. It's like Cheers. That's the key difference. The key difference is how often, how much news, how much information, how much volatility and liquidity, not just in terms of the money flowing, but just information flows. Tesla is the king of this. And if you don't think I'm wrong, or if you think I'm wrong, let me ask you a very simple question. And I'm asking you in the chat. Can you name the CEO of Tesla? Go ahead. Tell me who the CEO of Tesla is, because if you don't know that it's this guy, then I don't know what you've been doing, right? What have you been doing? But can you tell me who the CEO of Palantir is without Googling this, without looking at your phone? RJ Chicago, you're the one guy, right? Very few people know who Mr. Karp is. Very few people have seen it. Now, obviously, Palantir has been in the news a little bit more, but Elon Musk has been driving the news since the EV revolution, since the launch of SpaceX, since the conversations that we have had over time with the Boring Company and his flamethrower and going on 60 Minutes and obviously Doge. This is a household name news machine. His tweets move markets. His humor, if that's however you want to describe it, leads to outrage, which leads to more people responding, which leads to more price action. That is what Tesla is. Tesla is the ultimate news machine. So when I talk to you, though, about the idea of trading Tesla, this is the one stock that you can retire on, actually. And the reason is pretty simple. Because of something that we are calling Tesla 4D. Now, what is that, right? Let me share with you why Tesla 4D, not just trading Tesla, not just that stock, but Tesla itself, 4D, 4 dimensions of trading this, is such a game changer for traders who want to focus on one thing every single day to maximize their profits and target maximum gains. Tesla 4D allows us to target 150% moves every time Tesla rips. And I'm going to show you this morning exactly what happened at around 10 o'clock that exactly led to a performance like that. Very simple setup, very simple idea, one single stock. So the first thing that a lot of people think about when they see Tesla is the obvious. And I understand that because a lot of people might not even have in their trading account enough money to trade 100 shares of Tesla. It is $315 per share. So you're saying, well, that's an expensive stock. I can't trade call options on that. I can't do, covered calls and things like that. I was hoping this was going to be a ticker that I could afford. But the reality is that when you think about this stock, this one individual stock, and you think about it fourth dimensionally, Tesla 4D is a way to trade Tesla and all of the opportunity that it uniquely presents without that hefty price tag. You're not going to have to just shell up one share, $315. And in some cases, options can be expensive. So there's many different ways to trade this, which we'll discuss. What makes Tesla 4D such a breakthrough, Tesla 4D frees you and I to have to focus our time. We can just focus on one ticker in a very relaxed way. Tesla gives you volatility. It gives you liquidity. It gives you momentum. You wake up, you open Tesla, you trade it with clarity and confidence. Breakouts, breakdowns, various ways. Let's get to this because while your neighbor is playing checkers and how they trade and focus on Tesla, I'm going to show you right now how to play 4D chess. The way that I look at Tesla is the very same way that I look at momentum, volatility, liquidity, breakouts, breakdowns, reversions, everything that you see with the S&P 500 and with the Qs, but drilled down to one name because one name is so incredibly important. Tesla is the most liquid options name of any stock on the planet. Tight spreads, huge volume, clean fills, great for scalping, great for swings, great for spreads. You never have to guess where the action is because this stock effectively replies to everything from earnings to Fed speeches. And then when that happens, it creates 4 different ways to trade it, which we'll call the down, the collapse, the up, the launch pad, reversions, which has been one of my favorite ways to tackle this, and then the proxy potentials that are unlocked from this stock. So a moment ago, I mentioned there were 4 ways, the collapse, right? And I want to point something out because to you, you might look at the chart that happened on June 5th, and you will remember a day of infamy in the relationship between Mr. Musk and Donald Trump. Now, we remember that day. We remember how they went nuclear on one another on Twitter. It became a huge breakup, the biggest breakup around the world. And that day, the stock did collapse. It fell very sharply, about 16%. But that breakup, that collapse, started around 12:30 that day, 12 o'clock to 12:30 on June 5th. But here's the fun part. That morning, I had actually written an article, and I sent out a recommendation saying, here is how and why it is time to short Tesla. And specifically, I was focusing around a very specific moving average. And I said, it is time to short it using an inverse ETF, the TSLS, which someone just mentioned in the chat. The reason that I focused on this was because of the setup that was in play. And what was interesting about it was I was going to be short this stock no matter what, but we put ourselves in a perfect position because the news that followed the technical move. And that's a very important thing to remember. We aren't following the news. We are setting ourselves up for the news to deliver us a big move. Right when that fight started, that accelerated the breakdown and the shares fell 15% in just 3 hours. And then using that, I went out, traded this $1.25 call on a proxy on Tesla, and within a few hours, that went to $2, a 60% gain, just trading that proxy and trading the breakdown that you see. Now, there are other ways to trade this. Again, cheaper ways to play 4D chess when it comes to this and potentially doubling your profits. And that 60% gain, had I used a different proxy, could have turned into a 120% return. But it's all about knowing that there are all these different opportunities, different ways to trade it, options, ETF shares, different technicals that can put you in place to create safer, lower risk downside and massive upside. Remember, I said we are constantly targeting 150% moves when this stock takes off. In another breakdown pattern, 4D gives you the toolkit to take advantage of any headline. So again, the breakdown was set up and the news took us with it. Here's another example of this. This was when Tesla stock fell after Trump ended the EV mandate. This goes back to January 21st, when a lot of people were bullish on Tesla, right? Tesla had just had this massive move up after the election, and people were really, really, really passionate about trying to continue trading that momentum. But the reality was, there had been a significant amount of momentum, and there was clear evidence as we looked at the tactical lines that we are focused on that this was going to become a sell the news event. And Tesla fell 6% after the inauguration. A lot of people were left holding the bag. But if you understood that this was a collapse moment, there was an opportunity to collect 47% using the Tesla proxy in under 3 hours. Again, setting a very tight position to ensure that if it goes a different way, you're going to be protected. But the upside here, 47%. And here's the best one, right? This is all we see in this environment now, we're getting very bearish in the news on Tesla, and this was from Morningstar. Is Tesla being destroyed by Elon Musk? Shares plunge on fear of deliveries, that we will see a big drop. Well, we saw some news today about deliveries, and we're going to see a trade that we did. But in this case, this was the peak Doge event. This is where dealership vandalism had picked up. This is where the boycott calls picked up. This stock falls 4% in 2 hours after we saw this move under a trigger line. And a proxy, once again, turning around. If you had made this trade and followed this pattern, the upside here could have been 66% using the breakdown, using the Tesla proxy. Now let's look at the launch pad. Let's look at the breakout patterns, because this is where it gets really excited for the 150% hunting that we're looking for. On April 9th, if you remember, I have been talking about following insiders, following exactly what is happening in the market, understanding the technicals, following the patterns of knowing insider buying and policy changes. Well, we saw that pause on the tariffs, and we knew that this was a very significant event that was transpiring. And Tesla started to break above very key levels for us, and it stunned Wall Street with a 22% rally, its best day since 2013. And that stock ran 17% that day. One stock, one headline, one event, everybody thrilled, insiders on board across the market. But once again, Tesla being that leader, reacting to that huge geopolitical and macroeconomic story, and starting to break out and starting to run. And this is the type of gains that are possible if you had taken this, a 74.8% move using another Tesla proxy in less than 26 minutes. Again, technical focus. April 25th, EV deregulation. And if you follow my focus on momentum, and you know that we have a signal that we use that I give away and I talk about each day, if you follow that momentum and Tesla reacting to that momentum and this other headline, Tesla stock rallying on the back of this, extending gains as the U.S. loosens self-driving regulations. The stock jumps 9% on the back of multiple things, the change in the rules and the change in the broader market conditions that had been improving since that April 9th period that we just discussed. This could have been a eye-popping 536% move in under 4 hours. That's how powerful this stock is. That's what this stock gives you. And if you learn it and you focus on it every single day and you learn how to trade it, there is an eye-popping amount of opportunity just using one ticker. Now let's do one more Launchpad example. March 24th. And this was an interesting one, right? Because the market was breaking down. There was a lot of uncertainty, but that's right. There were two things going on at the same time with a company like Tesla. First, as I had noted back on March 13th, I was expecting a short squeeze after the sell-off that we had. Remember, the stock has a 2% short, has an open short position on it from the broader market, right? Open short 2%. Well, in addition to that squeeze, you had this pop from tariff easing, 12% move on this stock. Understanding the macro conditions and the individual micro conditions and how policies align with this name. Stock moved 13% at open after news of the tariff speculation. And this is the type of move that is possible. If you had taken this, a 67% move using another Tesla proxy in under 2.5 hours. I hope you're seeing this. I hope you're understanding that, again, it's just one name. I'm not diving out there trying to figure out what else is going on in the other EV space because of the headlines or the EV regulations. I'm just trading Tesla. And let me tell you something that happened today. Today, we got an update on deliveries and production from Tesla. And in the pre-market hours, we had a huge spike. And then the market opened and the market dropped and Tesla dropped. Tesla spiked. It started to fade right after the open. And somebody said in the chat this morning when we were doing our morning show, that announcement, that spike was just a head fake. Well, was it? Because this is where we got to start talking about 4D reversions. And this is the thing I love the most out of a company like Tesla and what it gives me. Today, we sold off to start the day. And then the trigger line delivered for us. And right away, took a very small trade. And this is what I did at 9 o'clock. And that is my actual trade down there, the bottom right. I bought this call, the 307.50 call for expiring tomorrow at $4. And it ran to 6 in 8 minutes. 10:04 entry, 10:12 exit. And that call has actually moved to nearly as much as 9 today. Now, it's okay if you don't like Mr. Musk. Doesn't matter if you love Mr. Musk. That's not the point. We're not owning this stock. We are trading it because we are learning how an entire ecosystem of the financial system operates. We are trading what is right in front of us and what the market is giving us. This is another example of a reversion trade that I did, where the stock bounced off the line and reverted back to its mean within 48 minutes. And again, delivering 12% in 48 minutes. Hey, it's not as big as the 50%. It's not as big as the 150. But in this environment, when you're using weight and you're playing the reversal, 12% in 48 minutes can be a very significant boost to your weekend. This happened last Friday. Tesla pulled back to my trigger line before bouncing 2%. And this happened in the close. And then I traded a proxy on Tesla where this reverted 32% gain in under 15 minutes. That was it. Pretty simple. Pretty simple. So, as we note, this is one stock, one company, one simple name. But what you probably don't know, and this is what's really exciting about it, is that you don't need that $300 and some to be trading Tesla. Instead, there is this breakthrough, these number of things that are happening right now that allow us to trade Tesla for 14 times cheaper than where we are today, just trying to trade the underlying stock and the underlying options. And they come from the innovation of companies like Direxion, FS Investments, Axis Investments, where I used to consult for, Granite Shares, Roundhill, and Defiance. And we are creating a new, very new, affordable, leveraged instruments that allow us to trade Tesla without the usual expense, right? So while everyone else is paying 17, and what is a proxy? A proxy is something that is related to the company in some capacity. It may be part of an ETF, it may be part of other parts, but it is something that Tesla influences, and therefore it makes it tradable. Even if Tesla stock is going in one direction, it will pull some of these proxies in other directions as well. Now, while everyone else is paying 14, we are focusing on paying that $1 with that 4D style trade. Very, very important to keep in mind. So here's the thing. This is what I really want you to understand. We're just asking about proxies. ARK is a very good example of that. But why am I all in on Tesla? This is a retail trading phenomenon. This is one of the heaviest trading options chains in the world. It is where Reddit and Wall Street collides. ARK Innovation, that is Cathie Wood's group, right? Where speculators like to speculate. The NASDAQ, the SPY, the Triple Qs. There are 425 ETFs that hold Tesla. That is 1/10 of all ETFs. That is monstrous. There are huge ranges, huge reversals every day. This stock reacts to everything, from earnings to Fed speeches to Musk tweets. You do not have to guess where the action is. And when we talk about ARK and the Qs and the SPYs, you could trade it your way. You could use options, ETFs, shares, other things. You can stop chasing 30 stocks and start trading like a pro with one name, 4 setups, and a repeatable edge, because, again, this does not react to hype. This is a stock that generates hype. It is never, ever quiet. It dominates the news cycle with its new products and product reactions. It is a constant focus during earnings season. People are going to be talking about CNBC on CNBC tonight. They're going to be talking about Tesla. Full stop. No doubt about it. Musk controls the press around Tesla. He controls X. He is dominant narrative engine. He does public stunts just to generate attention. If they're not talking about you, make them talk about you. That's what he does. It has instant exposure. Everything they do around X, and keep in mind, a lot of algorithms in the market are tied to his Twitter feed itself, just like a lot of algorithms do around President Trump on his Truth Social. This has massive passive investment support through the Mag 7. No other CEO goes to the lengths that he does. And this is the stock that is the center of the mega themes in this market. EVs, space, renewables, AI, autonomous vehicles, electricity. Consider how much electricity demand we are going to need in the United States in the next 25 years. It is expected to double the capacity. Why does that matter? Because Tesla's name is an electricity name. It is not an auto company. It is named after Nikola Tesla. That is a reason for that. So in one of the single biggest stories right now in the world, in terms of do we have enough electricity for consumers and for AI at the same time, Tesla is at the epicenter of that debate. And Tesla can and will teach you flow, structure, psychology, and execution. And this is the core thing that I really want to really drive home for you today. Frank Sinatra once said, if I can make it there, I'll make it anywhere, talking about New York. Listen, if you can trade Tesla, you can trade anything. But it is legitimately, Tesla is the only thing that you need to understand the most important things about being a trader. Technicals, volatility, momentum, the ability to understand breakouts and breakdowns and reversions and proxy moves on ETFs, understanding spreads, learning the entire system through a single stock. If you can trade Tesla 4D, you could trade any stock in the entire market. It is the gateway to the market mastery. And part of me wishes that I would have just gone, instead of going and trying to learn about the entire market, I would have just focused my attention on one company. Because the idea here is that Tesla 4D allows us to target 150% moves every time Tesla rips, and every single day presents not just one, probably multiple opportunities for these things to happen. Very simple. Now I'm going to take a real quick step back here. I have been a person my entire career who has gotten up and I have programmed watch lists. I have watch lists that I look at in the morning every day with people live at 8:45. We look at breakout stocks and breakdown stocks. And to be very honest with you, it can be overload. But if you like that watch list grind, if you like getting up and setting those parameters and taking a look at what stocks are breaking out on specific momentum indicators and trying to understand where other stock is in terms of its fundamentals and its value, and the other things that I actually like, the idea of what have really strong fundamentals, what are really cheap valuations, how do I combine those things and alter them and then look for them to break. If you want to do all that work and you like doing that work, then what I'm about to tell you is this is probably not for you. And go do all that work. It is as simple as that. But if you actually want the freedom to trade one stock ticker, learn the entire market, be able to trade in tight spreads and high volumes with clean fills, to learn how to use it to scalp and to engage in swing trades, and learn how to do spreads the right way, and learn how to use calls and puts and debit spreads, or maybe even just track volume weighted average price, then stick with me. Because the Tesla 4D is the only ticker that you need. So when I was recruited here, and when I made a lot of decisions to come and do work here and join this ecosystem, and I'm very, very happy to be here. I'm very thrilled because doing the live education component of this is extraordinarily rewarding. I say it time and time again. I absolutely love to teach. I do not have a PhD, so they will not let me into the building of anywhere that I went to try to teach advanced finance. This is 1B right next to it. The ability to work with traders every single day, educate them, and show them a different world, a completely different world. And if I were to take all of my education and all of my focus in trading and all of my focus in fundamentals and all of my focus in finance and economics and everything that comes with it, I would put it behind one company, just one company, and I would teach that company. Well, that's exactly what we are doing. We are creating the Tesla 4D accelerated boot camp. And I say accelerated because you need to be in this stock 4 hours ago with me. It is very important that you have the opportunity to learn everything that we focus on instead of the broad market. See it all through one single stock, one single company. That's it, right? That is it. So this is the world's first accelerated 4D bootcamp for Tesla, and we are going to be launching this Tuesday of next week at 1 o'clock Eastern. You are going to get 24 hours a day, 7 days a week access to this recording. We're going to do it live, same time we did today, but 6 days from now. In addition, the Tesla 4D private VIP chat room, this is going to be a 6-week accelerated Tesla mastermind. We are going to do 2 live sessions per week, and we are going to have at least 2 trade ideas per week. We're going to look to do the trades actively in the room as we are trading and talking about the company and everything that it involves. And that involves understanding how the stock reacts to news and understanding all of the other core components, the things that are so important to understanding trading, whether that be various simple things about understanding daily volume and options liquidity and media presence and ETFs. We're going to aim to trade it, but there will be situations where we are going to see breakout and breakdown patterns that may give us multiple day trades, and we will have alerts specifically for that. Now, one of the last things that I note, very important for me to come and work at Theo because of Don. And I know that no one knows options trading like Don. That 101 and 201 masterclasses that Don provides are going to be a part of this boot camp. Now, I want to show you how powerful Tesla is because this is a live call from one of our viewers who said 14% move, great call on the TSLS, made 500% on the at the money calls after that move that we talked about, that breakdown move with Elon and Trump. So if you want to learn how to do this, the new 4D Live Masterclass kicks off 1 o'clock, July 8th, next week. We are going to be doing a step-by-step focus on the proprietary trading rules, the systems that I use, the technicals that I use to trade Tesla 4D. Yes, this class will be recorded, and yes, you will have access, unlimited access, and the retail value on this is currently $1,997. Now, I want to just point this out. This is going to be the first of, again, 6 weeks that we're going to be talking about this. We're going to be a very all-encompassing live class, but then once again, we're going to have a room where we're going to spend time doing education and then aiming to actively trade this every single day that we are live, and that you're going to be able to take this trade. You're going to be able to take this trade, and you're going to be able to do it on your own using the exact same things that we should have said. So as we look through this, once again, we're going to get my one line, my one ticker, my one system set up for Tesla for trading it. I literally watch one line. That is like my optimal way for us to actually succeed. But there are other setups, but this is the one that we're going to be focusing on heavily on in the masterclass, in addition to looking for other opportunities. Just another example of what the potential is here. What is the potential here? Well, here was P. Butts, 5. What did he say? Well, he didn't do 500%, but he made 62% on the TSLS put yesterday. He got in late, but 62%, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. In addition to this, again, as I said, 12 high conviction trade alerts each week. We're going to have simple execution instructions. This is very small account friendly. And this alone, just this alone, is worth a retail value of $997. In addition to that, You're going to see the 12-week access to the Tesla 4D VIP chat room. This is going to include day-to-day mentoring and trade setups. I'm going to be in that chat room. I'm going to be able to provide answers live day-to-day. I'm going to be active in this. I want you to be able to focus on this and be able to make trades where it is applicable. This alone, a retail trade value of $1,997. And just, this is my favorite message that I have gotten since I got here. Slick Cobra saying that his SPY call, again, trading Tesla or trading a proxy of Tesla, $597 call, paid him $1,500, lots of wine. We're still waiting for that wine to get delivered. But once again, if you're interested in this, you're excited, theotrade.com/Tesla. These are the types of gains we're focusing on. And once again, I said it already multiple times, but I'm very serious about this. Coming and working with Don. Nobody knows options trading like he does. He was on the institutional side, understands the retail side with the focus on Thinkorswim. You're going to get the Options 101 and the 201 courses with Don. Retail value $297. Now, I want to take a real quick step back in a moment and show you again everything that you get, but this is very important to me. I told them this is very important. We're doing 6 weeks, but we're still giving you a 30-day money-back guarantee. So I'm sticking my neck out, right? These first 4 weeks better be good, right? That it can make sure that you stay for those last 2. So if you're not satisfied within the next 30 days, email support@TheoTrade and we'll get a full refund. We have a money back guarantee stipulations. Well, there are none. Okay. No excuses, no questions, no commentary needed. Just email us and ask for your money back. That's how we're operating here. But these are the types of performances that we're looking for, right? Somebody made a play on some of the types of strategies that I use. Went 3 for 3 yesterday using it. You see the reactions. People are excited about that. In addition to that, people saying, Garrett, I and others have been adding your chart settings to our charts and have been knocking the cover off the ball. Thanks for your insights. That's what this is about. It's about education. It's about giving you the confidence and the knowledge of the market to be successful. And people have talked about some of the various strategies that I've used. I've traded on it and it works. This setup is golden, Garrett. That's exactly it. So we've put all of this together. And we are limiting this today to 50 seats. And I have to limit this to 50 seats because I want this to be a very intimate environment where traders are able to get their questions in, where I'm able to respond. And we can do this live and not necessarily overload ourselves with too many people in the room. That said, this is another thing, right, Garrett, not to interrupt, but your SMR trade spread from 530 is trying to go to 100%. Now, I want to just briefly take a little bit of a step back, and I want to just walk you through everything that you will get by being a part of this system. And understand that when it comes to 4D, you do not need anything more than one name. You don't need the SPY and you don't need the Qs. You need one company that meets all of these parameters, all of these needs, all of the things that you can have, not to just make money and be successful as a trader, but to learn this market, to learn everything about being a trader through the eyes of one company. Once again, this is the most liquid media fueled narrative driven stock on earth. 1 in 10 ETFs own it. And if you were a part of this, you are going to get the 4D Masterclass live on Tuesday, July 8th. This is perfect for beginners. Doesn't matter what your background is. Doesn't matter how long you've been trading. Maybe you have been trading some very advanced strategies in the past. Maybe you are a person who trades butterfly spreads or does iron condors. But also the key focus here is understanding that you can take action on this and be successful using one name. In addition to this, the 4D alerts, access to the private room, in addition to the 101 and 202, 201 here, and the unlimited email access to me. Again, Don noted that earlier. Just go to support@theotrade.com and you'll get Garrett. This right here is your options today, right? You can do the 6-week Tesla 4D bootcamp. We're setting that up for $995 today. We also have a second bonus here where we're going to do an extra 6 weeks of VIP trade room access to Tesla. Now I'm seeing that Stephen Y. from Oklahoma, Rob B. from California, Polly F. from Washington. Thank you so much for joining us. It's going to be great. You guys are joining us on on Tuesday of next week. Stephen M. from Minnesota, thanks, guys, for joining us. I am thrilled to be able to do this. And if you sign up today and you are doing the 6 week, you have the option to do the extra 6 weeks. And we're going to do that for effectively an extra 6 weeks for half the price of the 6 week current class, plus that VIP trade room access. So we're going to keep trading this for another 6 weeks. But I want to make sure that you hit the ground running. We have so much coverage right now when it comes to Tesla. We have options that we're going to be able to take advantage of right away. We have Third Friday coming up in July, which is a great day to be trading all types of proxies, all types of tickers tied to it, because there are so many options expirations that day. In addition to that, we are also going to be focusing on earnings. What's the optimal way to trade earnings around Tesla? Very simple. Very, very simple. So once again, here we go. If you have any questions, if you want to call us, talk to an account rep. This is our VIP line. Call 623-244-5657. And you can go to theotrade.com/Tesla and take advantage of this. theotrade.com/Tesla. Once again, I'm just trying to focus on how we can be active in this market, and we can do it around one specific trade. So I'm going to be going into the chat in a moment, and I'll be answering some questions for you. But that said, it is important just to kind of cover some of the basic Q&A that a lot of people ask. You need a laptop and an internet to get started, right? People say, what do I need? You can just use your phone. But if you want to be active and you want to learn, you're going to need a little bit of horsepower, not too much, just simply because I want you to be able to see the tools that we have and to be able to have access and see it on the screen and know exactly when the time is to take action. I don't want you trying to squint at a phone. It's very important that you at least have a laptop and an internet connection. You can email us at any time and you will receive a response within 24 hours. And that includes trade-related questions, setup-related questions. And if there is anything that I have written in the past on this, any of the documentation that I have that is tied directly to Tesla, you will have access to it. Just a matter of just asking for things as we continue trading. Variations of trades on the account within the IRA and retirement account, as little as a $2,000 in an account. And that's important, right? So you might not necessarily want to trade options in a specific account, or maybe you have limited access on things. I will show you the other types of tools and the other types of proxies that you can use, just using as little as $2,000 in any type of account to take advantage of this. Remember, we have just 50 spots available. Get in here. Take action, enroll, be a part of this. I put this together. I made a lot of changes in my life to be able to do this course. I am thrilled to be able to join people who are so interested in not just how the market works, but how one particular ticker has the capacity to drive so much in this market. So is this course too much for a beginner? Gino, no. That's the exact point. The setups are going to be extraordinarily simple. I am not focusing on very complex things. You will need level 1 to level 2 at most when it comes to options. And if you're not comfortable trading options, you're not going to need them. You can use some of the proxies that we will be focusing on. Is the profit target and stop loss provided with the trades? Yes, KC. That is the exact core of what we are focusing on. We are ensuring that we have setups in place, our profit targets in play. And if you want to be a person who is potentially trying to take a little bit more action, be a little bit more active when it comes to the market, and try to run your gains up, there are different ways that you can focus on this. But as an example today, when I made that 50% move on Tesla today, that run up from 4 to 6, I entered at 4. I exited at 6, and I said that's exactly where my profit exit is going to be. In fact, the way that this set up and where that technical line that I was focusing on, that trigger line, if it had fallen as much as 5%, I actually would have been out of the trade. This is about having the ability to understand that when it comes to this type of trading and looking for these particular setups, your capital is your ammunition. And I take that very, very seriously. I am very defensive when it comes to the markets. So I am specifically always looking for ways to maximize the upside and limit the downside and ensure that we have enough bullets to continue to keep firing and looking for these reversions. Are these day trades? There is a combination of day trading for the people who want to do the day trading. And then if there are technical breakouts and breakdown stocks, right? We talked about the launch pad versus the breakdown. Those will be more longer term trades. There are many different ways to trade Tesla. And again, that's the entire point. Some will be multi-day, some may be multi-week. In the case of what we just witnessed with Tesla, and this is very important, we had periods of sustained momentum in that stock. So that enabled us, so long as it remained above key support levels, to hold the stock as long as 45, 50 days using those proxies or using those options. But as far as trying to deliver short-term trades for people who are interested only in the day trading, that will be an option in addition to the longer-term moves. Those types of longer-term moves will require discipline by everyone who takes part in this. So if you are not a disciplined trader, this might not be for you, but if you're interested in learning the smartest ways to manage your risk, that is at the center of everything that we do today. A small account can't day trade. Yes, you will be able to do some trades. And again, if you are focusing on one trade a day, which is what our goal here is, then you will be fine. The order form is confusing my application. What is the phone number to talk to? Once again, I'm going to put this right back up on the screen for you. It is 623-244, and we are 5657 right there for you on the screen if you need to talk to an account rep. In addition to that, let's look at what other questions we have coming in from everybody. We have, let's see. Are you buying calls and puts, or are you using spreads? So RCB, very good question, because it comes down to very specific conditions in the market. In the type of the trade that I did this morning, it was a call based on a reversion pattern. So utilizing short-term calls was the way that I succeeded with that trade. But if we were to look at various types of moves on, say, a daily chart, it depends specifically where Tesla is. If it is between two different trigger marks, there will be call spreads. If it is above key support levels, we will buy calls. If it is below key support levels, we will buy puts. That's very, very important. Okay? All right. What would be the ideal amount of an account in order to get started trading? Honestly, as little as $2,000. As little as $2,000. And honestly, with some of these, if you're just learning how to do this, you would only need $500 to do it. Because if you just want to trade a couple of calls, that is going to be very, very easy to do. And with some of the proxy costs, even less. But again, I would anticipate, based on the fact that we do have a price on this, I would expect you to have a trading account somewhere in the $2,000 range. All right. Are there indicators involved that students would need to pay for? No, there are not. All the indicators and all of the technicals will be provided to you in the live trading. Let's see. Are these trades texted real time? The reversion trades that we are specifically focusing on, they may be specifically in the room, but if there is an option trade or a trade that is specific to looking a little bit more of a longer term trade, yes, that's all going to be done in real time. What do the two different offers include? Very good question, Bobby. So the first option is a 6-week accelerated course with the 12 trades, and then the second option, which adds another 6 weeks to this process. Do the proxies tend to track Tesla? So you're getting another 6 weeks of that live chat room and that support and all of the conversations about utilizing Tesla. Do the proxies tend to track Tesla? Like, do the charts look similar? Some do, some do not, right? So some people have set a couple of the proxies that are in here, but a very good example of just a general proxy might just be the QQQ, right? If you're interested in learning how to trade the NASDAQ, that's a simple way to do it. But we did mention ARK. ARK Invest does not always track Tesla. In fact, Tesla may be falling while ARK is going up. So there may be an opportunity for us to even talk about the idea of pair trades if that is the level of experience that you're looking for. But at the end of the day, we are trying to keep this very simple for any level of trader. Anyone who is interested in learning about how the market operates and seeing it through the lens of one company, very high volume name, very high volume stock where there is just unlimited potential to trade this. How do you envision contact on this after 12 weeks? Well, it is a mastermind, right? So masterminds end. And we will look and obviously have conversations about whether or not we want to explore this more. But obviously, with the demand that I'm anticipating, I think this obviously can turn into something much more valuable for the people who are joining this today. And we will have a deeper conversation about that later. How much time is necessary to set up the day and enter the position? Practically none. That's the beauty of it, because I'm teaching you in real time how a lot of this works. You do need to have patience for certain things, but it is the optimal condition that I will show you in order to how to make these trades. Look, we've got a lot of people coming in here. I love to see this demand. Robert from Wisconsin, Jeff from Indiana, Thomas, Connecticut. Look, everybody's getting shouted out today because I'm really excited that all of you are joining us. Stephen in New York, Thomas in Missouri, Lawrence in Florida, Bill in Texas, Randall in Florida. Guys, the last 50 spots, they're going. I mean, we're going to be down. We're going to be down real soon. Lawrence in Florida, Bill in Texas, Randall in Florida, Roger in California, Stephanie in Tennessee, Dennis in Arizona, Lawrence in Colorado, Brown B in Tennessee, Craig in Oregon, Michael in Hawaii, Eric in California, Khalid in Canada, George in California, Joseph in Michigan, Joe in Minnesota, Roger in Arizona, John in Minnesota. I love the Minnesota connection here. Ivan in Florida, as you know, lived in Florida, Florida man at heart. Chad in Mississippi, Elaine in Florida, Mark in Florida, JW in Tennessee, John in Arizona, James in Georgia, Raymond in Florida, more Florida, Mike in Arizona, Chris in Colorado, Shirley in Georgia, Michael in Canada, Rick K from New York, Alexander P. Guys, this is exactly what we're talking about, the ability to take advantage of this market and see it all through one name. And that is exactly the point that I'm trying to make today. Why Tesla is the king. It is the king. It is the cheat code. If you can master it, you can master anything. Mastering Tesla gives you the ability to trade any asset class. It covers the macro themes. It covers them in micro form. The stock reacts to every single driver in the market, Fed moves, earnings, geopolitics, sentiment swings, Musk narratives. Learning Tesla means learning macro. Learning how to set things up. It gives you insight on liquidity and volatility and structure. And all of those live sections, there's going to be 12 of these modules. We're going to dig deep into all of them, and we're going to stalk the market at the exact time, waiting for those specific setups. Tesla's massive volume and its option depth, it gives you opportunity to learn how to trade in real time. It is not hypothetical trading, right? This is live flow education. There is no theory here. This is a master class that shows you how to trade live Tesla every day, explaining the structure, the entry, the exits, the risk. You're going to see the market in action every day. You're going to have high frequency, very repeatable setups. There are consistent setups for breakouts and fades and reversions and ETF mirrors. You are going to be trading patterns. You're not going to be guessing. You're going to be looking to execute. You could trade across a lot of different vehicles. You could trade the shares, the options, the leveraged ETFs that I will teach you about, the correlated proxies. There is a full toolkit that is at your disposal when you are trading Tesla 4D. This is about risk and capital efficiency, about sizing, about hedging, about splicing. There is no reckless risk taking here. There is just measurable edge. That is the goal here. And you are going to get real-time feedback because every session is a micro boot camp. You're going to observe live trading. You're going to be able to mirror it tomorrow. You're going to be able to refine it next week. The feedback builds skill fast. This is pure psychology of the market in as well. We'll talk about fading the news and rips and reversions and how that works, market structures, mindsets. We are emphasizing the emotional controls, right? We are focusing on discipline. We are focusing on flow reading, and we're doing it through one ticker. I don't need 500 names. I just need one name. And at the end of the day, you are absorbing lessons. This is collateral learning. It's the most important type of learning there is. You are absorbing lessons on cash and bonds and crypto and ETFs and macro and currency because they all show up in Tesla's moves. You're going to be able to take advantage of, if this market breaks down, how does Tesla go with it? I'm going to show you that because I have a mountain of evidence going back all the way to my academic work since 2008. Seth in Wyoming, thanks for joining us. Dennis B in Massachusetts, Bob in Montana, William in Indiana, David in Florida. Guys, we don't have many of these spots left. Denson from Alabama, Charles from California. Guys, we're going to be very excited that everyone is joining us next Tuesday, 1 o'clock. Raymond from Rhode Island, Charles B from New Mexico. I can't make this any easier for you. I can't make this any easier for you, right? How do I envision the contact to be on this after 12 weeks? Well, you're going to have this experience. I'm still live every morning. And once again, keep in mind, it's not like I'm not going to stop talking about Tesla. It's the best stock in the world to trade. I'm talking about it every morning anyway. I talked about it. I had to try my best this morning to not talk about Tesla in the pre-market. And I still talked about Tesla because that's the type of name it is. It dominates the news. And once again, its deliveries this morning set up that trade that I talked about that I made from 10 o'clock, because Tesla, at 10 o'clock, that is the Tesla hour. Looking for reversals, looking for reversions, looking for opportunities as they emerge. This was a real trade that happened today, everybody. This did not just happen because I was just sitting around trying to guess what was going to happen with this company. No, I stalked this trade for literally 30 minutes. And the thing about this, and I'll be honest, like, I nearly tried to make a trade on the way down here. But the problem is that does not follow the rules. It does not follow the rules. You have to follow rules. You have to be very, very disciplined. And this hit a very specific trigger line that set my line in the sand. And I said, I'm looking for the reversion right here. And if it didn't come, cool. I'm out of the trade and maybe I'm down $5. Nope. This turned right back around and in 8 minutes delivered a 50% gain. And you can look at the 307 call, 307.50 call from today. Look at where that 307.50 call is today. Look at how that moved. That trade right there, it's tracked in the market. Bought it for $4 out at the 6 on that trade. That's what we're looking for specifically. So Texan indicators are for TOS, correct? We will do a combination of Thinkorswim and TradingView. I will show you how to do this stuff on Thinkorswim. I will make sure that everything that I have is in Thinkorswim, but I will just let you know that one of the core proxies that I utilize, one of the core technicals that I utilize only shows up on TradingView. Now, the good news about that is I will have specific access to that, and I will walk you through it. Does the watch rule come into effect? Again, you will not be put into a position where you're going to have to spend 9, 10, 15 trades a day. We're looking for one specific setup. Would it be a good idea to view the option 1 and 2? I absolutely would recommend that, Gino. The sooner you start to familiarize yourself, whether you are experienced in options or not, you're not going to get a better understanding of options and a better education on options trading than from Don Kaufman. So order it right now. Go out right now and make that and start today. And if you have questions, something that was missed or something you didn't understand in the 101 or the 201, support@theotrade.com. I will get back to you within 24 hours. What are the hours in the daily trading room? We're working on that right now. It'll probably be Wednesday and Friday, depending. What I'm trying to decide is, I know that there are other people who are doing different things, and we'll get a sense of that. There's the 3 o'clock hour. There's also a 10 o'clock hour. I will be in that room consistently during the week. So as far as the live sessions go, we're going to be setting up that schedule in the next 24 hours. What is the core schedule? How many days per week? We're doing 2 hours, 2 sessions per week right now. And right now, the specifics around it, it's going to go at least an hour per day. and it could definitely go longer. Because I am accessible, I will be in the chat room very, very often. So, specifically looking for that, looking for these setups. And once again, as you are in that chat room, my goal is, we have a lot of people who are in this chat room who are looking for these setups and really understand these setups. My hope is that this becomes a chat room where it's 24/7, where it's all you guys are doing is talking about this and setting one another up. If I am on air doing something else, again, because I do 45 minutes from 12:30 to 1:15, and I would be a lot happier if you guys are able to be in the room with one another during those 45 minutes, trading it actively, while I'm fulfilling my obligations to the rest of our TheoTrade audience. But it's going to be all Tesla all the time. What is a reversion? Very simple, good question. So a reversion is a setup pattern where we are specifically looking for algorithms and machines to cover their positions. Now, this is a pretty simple concept, right? There are many different technicals in the financial markets that I utilize, and I believe in roughly 4 of them that help me identify and time reversions. 2 of those setups will be shown in a very specific timeline chart, and another one is one that I talk about on a regular basis every single day in the mornings. But when it hits a very specific line, particularly when things get oversold in a market, we are looking for algos to step in and cover positions because it might be shorting or they might just be buying on weakness. We are taking what the market gives us. So what that ultimately leads to is on a day like today, where you had this selling, this point right here where we hit very specific conditions led to a trigger where ultimately there was buying. And because of that, this is the actual right chart, forgive me. That reversion happened on a very specific chart outside of these trigger lines that led to this reversal. Does the 30-day money back guarantee start from the payment or the day of the class? I believe it starts immediately. How much is the 12 weeks? It is $1,495. And if you would like me to pull that up one more time, I can do that. Thank you, Can Access, Thinkorswim. So that is great. The 307 is now $9. So once again, the $4 I got out at $6. That's just one of those things, right? It is what it is. Daily recommendations after the class will you be giving? Specifically, what I will be doing during the class, especially if we are during the day in the morning, I'm going to continue to provide you with specific instructions and setups in the event. So the key thing is if you are watching this and you are at your screen, I'm going to tell you this is the specific level that you will want to trade at, and this is what the option would look like, or this is what the proxy would be. There will be very specific instructions for anyone who is looking into the end of the day. And the final part about this, which is very, very critical, if we hit very specific lines and we are looking to make a trade, particularly a very disciplined trade, those instructions will go out immediately. This will start on July 8th. The masterclass does the money back guarantee. I believe it starts today, right? I think that's the way we're doing it. Are we using a specific time frame to trade options? Actually, when it comes to short-term types of trades, I'm looking for the potential to, focus intraday if those reversions come. But if we're looking at more longer term periods where you have these very significant macroeconomic events that are tied to Tesla and Tesla is tied to that, some of those timeframes could be somewhere between 2 weeks and 3 weeks, depending, or I will go out to the more liquid third Friday. But as you know, options within Tesla on a weekly basis are extremely liquid. Dennis from Massachusetts, Bob from Montana, William, Indiana, David, Florida, Raymond from Missouri, Denson, Alabama, Charles, California, Stephen, New Hampshire, Raymond, Rhode Island, Charles, New Mexico, Nadezhda in Illinois, Eric in Northport, Florida. Thanks, bud. Edson in West Virginia, Michael in Michigan, and William D from Nebraska. Listen, I'm going to be wrapping this up in about 3 or 4 minutes, okay? And you got a couple other questions, I'm totally fine. It is an extra week on Tesla trading. It is an extra week on the education as things come, and there will obviously be more insight and briefing as how Tesla is operating as we go. But I want you to think about this. If you're still with us, if you're still on the fence, I want you to understand once again what it is that we are doing here and what makes this so unique, right? I have spent the last 17 years of my life viewing the market through a completely different lens than the average person does. I view it through a very macro perspective. I focus on momentum. I look at insider buying. I have avoided every single major crisis back to February of 2022. I have very specific indicators that I focus on, and all of them impact Tesla in a very unique way. And you're going to walk away with that knowledge as well. But you have to make a decision today, right? You are getting an MBA in the markets. You are getting a THD, right? A Tesla doctorate. You are going to learn everything. This is not a product. This is a breakthrough in how you learn to trade on top of how you trade, because every price bar is a lesson and every session will build an edge. There's not much more I can do to try to convince you, except tell you that if you're not doing this now and you're not understanding how Tesla fits into the macro and understanding how this compartmentalizes into everything, you're leaving an opportunity, a significant opportunity on the table today. Because once again, we are not focusing on anything that is hyper speculative. We are focusing on what we know from a technical perspective can and will work. We are focusing on one name, the most liquid name in the world. And the power of 4D and the ability for us to take one company and inject the entire market into it and all the opportunity and everything that comes with it. 1 in 10 ETFs own this. This is the most liquid, media-fueled, narrative-driven stock on earth. You're going to hear this name every single day for the next 3 months. You're going to hear Tesla everywhere you go, CNBC, Bloomberg, everywhere you go. And the question is, are you going to trade it? Are you going to join us? Are you going to learn this? Are you going to take advantage of this opportunity right now? Are you going to chase hype, or are you going to execute with precision, right? Are you going to guess setups, or are you going to know exactly the right moment to trade this name? And are you going to be prepared that we're going to get up in the morning on some days and talk about how we just watched this stock rip and how everybody knew exactly how to do it, and you're going to be the person who didn't do it? So I highly encourage you today, take the time, take the guarantee, 30-day money-back guarantee. You don't need 12 watch lists. You don't need 100 charts. You need the one ultimate ticker, and you need to trade it like it's fourth dimensional chess. That is what the Tesla 4D Accelerated Bootcamp is about. And we have done this to allow traders to take advantage of the 6-week program for $9.95. And if you want that power pass, the 6 extra weeks and everything that comes with it, then join us today. Once again, just to run you through everything you get and what you will miss if you're not part of this experience. Live on Tuesday, July 8th at 1 o'clock, you're going to get the 4D Masterclass. This is going to be the long one. This one's going to run a while because this is going to be all-encompassing. This is going to cover everything you need to know. And then all those other live sessions we have, we're going to cover another particular topic, another module, and you're going to be interested in it, and you're going to get all of the material that comes with it. All of think of it as a college course, right? Think of it as that. The man with the big red balloon built. The core thing here, right, is you're going to get the trade alerts. Each week, you're going to get 2 high conviction trade ideas with clear, actionable guidance, even if you have a small trading account. All of these courses are going to be recorded. You're going to get all of my class notes. People get access to my slides every day. I give it away. I did the research and I lined it up anyway. All the stuff that goes into the preparation for all of these classes are going to be yours. You're going to get access again to the 4D VIP chat room. You're going to get day-to-day mentoring, the trade setups, the real-time answers. You can reach out anytime at support@theotrade.com. You're going to get access to the options 101 and 202 with Don Kaufman. Retail value $494, plus the unlimited email access, plus the money-back guarantee. You don't have anything to lose. I am taking all of that risk and putting it on my shoulders. So, once again, it is an absolute pleasure to get up every single day and talk the markets with you. But I want to give you the opportunity to trade one name, learn the entire market, everything that I know, all of the academics that I have, all of the real trading education, and bring it down to one name to make it simple for you and give you as many ways to trade this name as possible, all while creating a community of Tesla traders. Guys, once again, click the link, get in here, join us, be a part of this new community. I'm very, very excited that I have the opportunity to do this. Really kind of moved heaven and earth to really get here to provide this opportunity to me and to obviously get the benefits out of being part of this community and having all of you as potential students. And as I said, we're down to just a handful of these seats left. At 50 went pretty quick. And if you are interested and you have questions, again, call us at 623-244-5657, theotrade.com/Tesla. Everyone, Rob is in. I love it. Great to see you. It is 2:28. I hear my daughter upstairs. She is calling my name. I told her that I would play FIFA soccer with her when I was done this presentation. So it is a pleasure to join you all. And again, Denson, Edison, Eric, everybody, I will see you all next week. Get in there, get that last few spots. We're down to just a few. I'm looking at the name in the list right now. That's awesome to see. I can see there's so much enthusiasm for something new, something big, something easy, something different. That's what this is. This is new. This is something that has not been done before. You will not see something like this anywhere else. And I really am excited to see so many of you next Tuesday when we launch the first masterclass at 1 o'clock on July 8th. Call 623-244-5657. Thank you guys so much. theotrade.com/Tesla. Have an awesome day, everybody.